The Nigerian Association of the Blind has called on the Nigerian financial institutions and the government to ensure that physically challenged persons are included in policies that will make banking accessible and easy for them. They want the blind to be able to access mobile banking apps and the deaf to be able to communicate with staff in the banking hall, among other services. In this special report, News Center's Akede chronicles some of the difficulties that physically challenged people in Nigeria face while trying to access the services of financial institutions.
The understanding of the term people living with disabilities has changed. It no longer is just a function of such people being physically challenged or disadvantaged and as such cannot do certain things, but now also includes people who, due to societal barriers, cannot do certain things.
And I always give the example of this deaf swimmer, South African swimmer. They had the starter gun, which would make a lot of noise, obviously. But for a deaf person, that starter gun wasn't useful. So they had a light. And what would happen is that when the gun went, the light would go at the same time. And as a result, he got the same information that the starter gun was giving to other people. And he actually won a silver medal in the Sydney Olympics. So in that sense, would you call him a disabled person even though he was deaf? Or would you rather say that the barriers that the deafness created was removed?
In many African countries, many of these societal barriers still exist, thus making it difficult for physically challenged people to live normal lives. Such barriers are largely felt in the financial sector, where physically challenged people find it difficult and in some cases impossible to access financial institutions or even their services.
There are ATMs that I'm comfortable accessing, but there are some that are quite difficult to access. You stretch to be able to punch your numbers, your code. And there are ATMs you walk up to, even trying to insert the card is a struggle. So you call someone around to help you insert the card and help you punch the numbers.
In a bid to address this issue, representatives of Nigerian Association of the Blind met with certain financial institutions concerning building the capacity of persons with disabilities to use bank tools and access facilities.
Today's program is about dialogue with persons with disability on an inclusive financial system, right, in line with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability and the Sustainable Development Goal. Community of persons with disability have come to realize that the banking system are not accessible, right, for persons with disability, and it's become so strenuous. Even the digital apps are not accessible, the mobile apps and what have you, and we were like, okay, what can we do? We had to run to our partner, the Disability Right Fund, who then, supported us to ensure that we advocate for an inclusive financial system.
While some banks have put physical and virtual structures in place to assist physically challenged persons, they still are far from the target, particularly in terms of staff sensitization.
When they are treating persons with disability, in the course of rendering their services, they look at you from the point of pity, they look at you as inferior or whatever, and handle you without human dignity.
Maybe he was transferred newly or just got employed to the bank. And immediately I got to the gate of the bank. He ran because I could hear his footsteps running towards the gate. And what he did was to lock the gate immediately and say, Alaba Musa, Alaba Musa. I'm like, Alaba Musa for what? So I think immediately he noticed that my utterances changed and I'm ready to even shout at him. He now said, oh, what do you want? I said, I want to make transaction. So he just opened the gate reluctantly.
The Nigerian Association of the Blind says the message is simple. Inclusion is all they ask.
I want to say that even if there are barriers or challenges, what should come to our mind is a way of removing those barriers or surmounting those challenges.
People living with disabilities have over the years shown how valuable they can be to national development, and if Nigeria is to benefit from such values, these special people have to be included in all decisions made. Akede, News Central, Lagos.